Then thanks again for your answers, and I give the floor to Guido to introduce the next presentation.
Thank you very much, Amélie and Lutz, for this first part of the webinar. I'm glad now to introduce Claudio Salvadori, who is the co-founder, CEO, and president of New Generation Sensors, an innovative Italian SME company specializing in IoT solutions for cultural heritage and industrial application. With a PhD in telecommunication engineering and over 30 scientific publications, he has advanced wireless sensors network and smart system. Claudio's work includes developing modular sensor-equipped containers that align with the physical internet vision of a hyper-connected, interoperable, and efficient logistic network. I'm glad to give the floor to Claudio, who will present TrackOne Platform, an NGS platform. And the title of his presentation is The Enabler for a Supply Chain Visibility. I like the word visibility because it means that it's not something behind the scene, but it's clearly put on the table and in front of all of us. Claudio, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Claudio Salvadori. Thanks a lot, Guido, for the introduction, so I don't have to introduce myself. I'm going to present TrackOne. I have presented done this 7-point agenda where I raised the problem. But what I want to say is that TrackOne is a wrap-up of what we have said before, looking ahead in the future, following up the European directive in logistics based on the physical internet approach. And we are describing our platform, as well as we are presenting an interesting use case in the clinical trials domain. So, and the question is why in the railways? Yes, we can translate easily this information toward the railway scenario, since the clinical trial is very complex scenario. So the normal logistics, the multimodal logistics is less complex scenario. So we are, as Guido said, we are not in Italy. We develop IoT solutions. We start from that. Then we are working on more in middleware that takes this data and analyze and share it. In fact, we are delivering a platform for supply chain visibility, and we present this project because it is funded in the Next Generation EU framework. So the problem is there is a lack of end-to-end visibility in a trust complex and multimodal supply chain. That is the base of the logistics nowadays. And the TrackOne mission is to enable real-time digital visibility and trust of this supply chain. So this slide is the core of the presentation. I try to summarize here what we mean in terms of the supply chain visibility. Of course, we are developing IoT, so identification, localization, monitoring is a key feature. But what we want to enable is the collaboration among stakeholders, because in a multimodal approach where there are sender, shipper, freight forwarder, transport means, everyone has to cooperate in this way. So, and the cooperate means that we have to share information regarding the goods, in terms of which goods, where are them, or how are them managed. And in terms of documentation, we consider at the moment EDI, it is an old standard, but we are looking with very good interest to have EFTI, and these data are not an output of our solution like in the normal IoT scenario. It is an input and an output, and so this data can be proactively analyzed through analytics, from analytics and AI, and the more important events can be shared through blockchain trusted approach. which are the outcomes of our analytics. For example, could be event and future and features extracting from IoT devices, because the new release of EPCIS, the 2.0, enable also the IoT, but can also define the business phases, or we can also analyze the level of a certain warehouse, because we know the position, we know the number, we know the identification, so we can understand how many elements are in a certain warehouse regarding a certain component. And then we can also assign to a digital identity to each goods, each asset, in order to understand how it is composed or how it is managed. Okay, so this one is what we consider as the base of complete visibility in line with the physical internet approach. So, and this platform is a multi-tenant platform, so it's not a platform by only one stakeholder, but it is a collaboration platform among stakeholders that cooperates in the supply chain. I'm describing now how it is done. The technology behind TrackOne is completely proprietary by NGS, so we have developed everything from sensor to cloud components, and we have developed this Prometeo, that is the orchestration engine where data can be proactively collected, trusted, shared through blockchain, as well as we can enable online AI capabilities, AI analytics capabilities. So data are not collected, stored, and then processed. Data are collected, maybe stored, but in parallel, data are shared to AI and analytics engines to extract feature and understand this data. And this one is the architecture. So we have data that are arriving from IoT, from handheld device, for example, RFID, barcodes, and so on, and EDI documents that are entering, but we can also generate EDI documents as understanding of a certain business phase, and these data then are shared through GUIs, then are of course stored in the database, but the most important thing is that we are online feed analytics and online feed the blockchain in order to have a real-time, I can say real-time visibility, trusted visibility of the supply chain. Now I'm going to speak about the project we are facing with. This project is called Treatment, Smart for Sustainable Last Mile Delivery Clinical Trial. And this one is one of use case of physical internet and interoperability. So here there is an answer, important answer to why use GS1 EPCIS? Because GS1 has enabled, I think the only one, logistic protocols that enable the organizational interoperability. Because organizational interoperability is the capacity to make two companies speaking together, speaking the same language. Means that a bottle of water by a certain company has a certain name and everyone can understand it. And so the technological interoperability is very simple, but GS1, as Claude said before, as from early 70, started to define the barcodes and then identifying uniquely the goods along the supply chain. And so that's why in treatment we use GS1, because we have to manage a complex scenario where it's not only the logistic partner involved, but in clinical trials there are tests for understanding if the drug under trial are working correctly. So we have to understand how these goods are managed during the supply chain. So this drug has to stay under certain condition in temperature. Is this condition maintained during the supply chain? If yes, okay, we are in a normal situation. Otherwise, it is not. It cannot be considered as a real experiment. So that experiment is not correct because the medicine are the drugs are not well stored. So and the same thing we can do. We are trying to do at the level of last mile. That means at the level of the consumer. So the patient that are using this medicine. So suppose that I have this box of medicine in my house and I will maintain at the wrong condition. Maybe I can have results, but I mean, I can advise scientists that the condition of usage of this medicine is not correct. So it is a complex scenario. So it's not only logistics, but it's also pharma, it's also experiment, it's also research. And so the objective of this project are sustainable smart delivery for trial medication. In fact, we use drones. But this, I mean, don't look at the peculiar mean we are considering. You have to see that we are in a supply chain where there are a lot of transport means, so a multimodal scenario, and the drone is the last mile delivery object, but it can be substituted by a truck, or why not in the future a tramway. A tram that is transporting medicine toward a tram stop in a city. Real-time monitoring of temperature and condition, faster, safer access for remote patients, of course, CO2 emission because we are using drones, and then a full end-to-end visibility of the supply chain. The objective of this project regards last mile, but it can be generalized, so from the producer toward the consumer. Okay, and then the technological innovation regards smart capsule for drones that are innovative container, smart packaging, and cloud platform for this TrackOne Platform in the end for sharing this data. As I said, there is an important the importance of this project regards a large set of consumers that are the normal supply chain users, but also people that are analyzing the supply chain and the consumption of the goods during the usage of the goods produced. So this is a very complex scenario, and in this scenario we can of course enable what the supply chain visibility can do. So transparency, visibility of data, fact-based decision making using AI and analytics, but we can also share data to scientists to understand whether the clinical trial is done correctly. In this manner, I mean, why the strategic impact regard the quality of the clinical trial, that means that the time to market will be reduced, and then we can an inclusive access trials, also in urban and remote area, and have a smarter and safer health system. So how can we translate this feature in the railway scenario? I can find two ways. The first one is the manufacturing in the railway scenario, and secondly, the multimodal logistics, where railway train can have an important impact, since trains are at the moment the only transport means that are electric. I mean, and usually electric, and I mean, they can really represent the Green Deal and the physical internet, so reducing the CO2 impact, as well as the traffic in the motorway and also in the urban logistics. And so, I mean, I can connect this presentation, I think, with the previous presentation. The objective is to have a real-time tracking of railway components in the production way, and so as well as following the business phase, because this one is enabled by GS1 EPCIS. You can enable traceability of high-value components. I mean, this one is very similar regarding the scenario of clinical trial track that are high value components in the pharma, integration of IoT sensor in the production line, and then so we can implement, of course, tracking of the goods and analysis of the supply chain, so when the goods are arriving, if they are managed correctly, as well as predictive maintenance during and process optimization during the production. GS1 EPCIS, I mean, in theory, could be have a seamless integration with certain ERP and MES. So in order to having end-to-end transparency of the supply chain. And then these last 3 points, storage optimization, customer duties, and reduced inventory, can be seen as a consequence of an analysis of the data we collect from the different stakeholders involved in the supply chain. I want to speak about duties in this slide because I think it's quite common, trendy word today, and optimizing the inventory. So having a clear idea of how many things we have in the inventory and how many things are arriving, and how many things and how is the trend of selling of a certain type of goods can optimize these duties, and then we can also understand in a deterministic manner how is their impact. This one is a short example of how the visibility of supply chain can support us. In the other side, of course, railway is is a part of multimodal logistics, and so what we can I mean, here I am repeating what is multimodal logistics, so we can integrate road, rail, and last mile delivery modes in line with physical internet. That is one of the objectives by EU, one of the objectives of 2030. Then for the decarbonization in 2050. We can do real-time monitoring and environmental and location of data. Of course, we can interoperate in terms of information as well as in terms of documents with DDI. Okay, we can implement smart containers, smart packaging, because one of the questions I received by an Italian train logistic provider, I mean the main one, is that okay, we are tracking the wagon now. How can we track what we put inside? And so this one can be interesting because with analyzing the consistency of the data of a wagon and of smart packaging, we can also understand which package are inside a certain wagon, a certain train. Okay. Then okay, and the rest regard the optimization of physical internet are green as well as automated, faster, and lower cost logistics. We develop also IoT device as well as we integrate third parties one. Here there are some examples, but in the next slide there is a small provocation. So this image is produced exploiting one of the most known AI tool, and I passed the information about our devices, and I speak about logistics. And look, the AI understand that there is the visibility and so on, but not train. I have to force to introduce train. And what I want to say in this scenario, I want to say that the train impact in logistics is not considered so much. So also AI is not trained to consider train as logistic means, because it's easy to see a track along the motorways, then a train passing through with the containers, or a last mile logistic mean based on the railway of tramway, the tramway. So this one is the question. The reason why NGS is a partner and shareholder of IPFS is that we trust that green mobility, green logistics pass through train, not through truck that are filling completely the motorways. What are searching for? So we are enabling full end-to-end visibility with the real-time responsiveness. We are searching for partners in R&D project, as well as, I mean, R&D means private, of course, but also collaboration in EU project. We are very active on that. Yesterday, I started a project of regarding the urban mobility, early adopters, and end user. Thanks a lot. Here there are my contacts if you want some other information.
Thank you very much, Claudio, for this presentation. I see your passion on GS1. This is why we have organized these webinars. Thanks also to Jérôme and to the two previous speakers. We have some questions for you. The first one, please answer quickly. Why the selection of EPCIS?
I think I've already answered to this. Is that EPCIS, from our study, in at least 4 European projects, is the only protocol that enables the organizational interoperability. So it can, of course, define technical ICT solution, but it can also define a language, a common language to enable the cooperation among the stakeholders in supply chain. This one is and so we trust and we work continuously in exploiting its immense, infinite possibilities on collecting data, extracting data, and providing information to the stakeholder in order to simplify, to optimize, to reduce the cost, to make greener the logistics. This one is the main reason.
Second, short answer, please. Is the solution for a specific supply chain, like health or other one, or it can be generalized?
I think the two scenarios demonstrate that can be generalized. I mean, we started with a very complex scenario. It is the clinical trials. Then we can simplify and adapt. Of course, we have to be adapted to different scenarios, but yes, can be generalized to railways and to other type of logistics.
Okay, thank you very much. Then maybe we have no other question for Claudio, but we have a general one coming on the presentation of today concerning, do you see any synergies with the below interest to participate? It is a full-scale derailment test and demo in October in Pueblo, United States of America. There is this Congress, and they are making this real-life demo. Maybe, I don't know if some of the speakers, of the 3 or 4 speakers, have something to say about this and connection with GS1. Short answer, please. Thank you.
So
Claudio.
Answering now immediately is quite difficult, but could be.
Thank you. Okay, it's an answer. Jérôme, Claude, Evan, do you have any reaction for a full-scale derailment test and GS1? Do you see some connection? Maybe Evan?
And we are very proud to be a part of this webinar together. There is a point we will meet together during CFAIR exhibition. It will take place in 3 weeks in Lille, in the north of France. And if you are in Lille, do not hesitate to come to visit us. And with Claude, we will organize a small event the 25th of June at 11:30. 11:30. Okay, sorry. Thank you, Claude. So you will be welcome. We'll receive you at the 5th forum space, 5th, and we can share with you. We will share with you the document made by the Interest Club GS1 of the north of France.
Thank you, Jérôme. Back to the question, and before answering, but I can provide answer later because I was not aware of this conference and this issue in the US. So to be honest, I have to dig a little bit more in the inside. What is the purpose of this conference and topics in order to provide an answer to see there is a link between GS1 implementation and this conference.
Okay, thank you for this. And
This is
you can, maybe you can continue to discuss about it during
Yeah.
CIFER if you or people going there to the CIFER fair in Lille.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a quick comment. This is Peter. It is related to new European legislation in TSI, technical standards for interoperability, that specifies the characteristics of vehicles in Europe. There are two functions called derailment detection function and derailment prevention function. So these are the ones that we will demonstrate in Pueblo. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter, and I give back the floor to Lutz.